So last time we have discussed the following: start and quit word user interface, save and open a document, edit and format text, use styles, modify line spacing in document, preview and print, create newsletter column, page orientation, adding border to a page, insert header or footer, insert page number, page break, table of content, and some word processing terminologies. So today we will be discussing what is a spreadsheet, basic tasks in Excel, and some spreadsheets terminologies. So let us define what is a spreadsheet. It is a tool that is used to store, manipulate, and analyze data. Data in a spreadsheet is organized in a series of rows and columns and can be searched, sorted, calculated, and used in a variety of charts and graphs. So in order to create an electronic spreadsheet, a specialized spreadsheet application is needed. By far, the most frequently used spreadsheet program is Microsoft Excel, but other spreadsheet applications exist as well. Spreadsheets example include Lotus 123, Microsoft Works Spreadsheet, OpenOffice Calc, and Google Drive Spreadsheet. So these programs allow users to work with data in a variety of ways to create budgets, forecasts, inventories, schedules, charts, graphs, and many other data-based worksheets. So true, power of the spreadsheets is its ability to handle complex mathematical calculations and automatically recalculate totals as the underlying data in the sheet changes. This is especially useful for what-if analysis and forecast. So most spreadsheet applications also allow users to format their sheets with options similar to those that we saw in word processing. Other similarities exist in the program as well, including spell check and the ability to insert decorative items such as borders and images. Excel is an incredibly powerful tool for getting meaning out of vast amounts of data. But it also works really well for simple calculations and tracking almost any kind of information. So the key for unlocking all that potential is the grid of cells. And cells can contain numbers, text, or formulas. You put data in your cells and group them in rows and columns. That allows you to add up your data, sort and filter it, put it in tables, and build great looking charts. So how are we going to create a new workbook? So Excel documents are called workbooks. Each workbook has sheets, typically called spreadsheets. You can add as many sheets as you want to a workbook, or you can create new workbooks to keep your data separate. So all you have to do is to click File and then click New. Under New, click the blank workbook. So this is an example of a blank workbook as seen in the diagram. So the one that is highlighted is known as a cell. Enter your data. So click an empty cell, for example, cell A1 on a new sheet. Cells are referenced by their location in the row and column of the sheet. So cell A1 is in the first row of column A. So from this diagram, so we have A1. So type text or a number in the cell, then press enter or tab to move it to the next cell. So apply cell borders, select the cell or range of cells that you want to add a border to. On the Home tab in the font group, click the arrow next to borders and then click the border style that you want. So we have here the diagram. So we have the font here, the type of the font, the size of the font. We have here bold, italic, underline, and then our border here. So apply or remove cell borders on a worksheet. So by using predefined border styles, you can quickly add a border around cells or ranges of cells. If predefined cell borders do not meet your needs, you can create a custom border. So cell borders that you apply appear on printed pages. So if you do not use cell borders but want worksheet grid line borders to be visible on printed pages, you can display the grid lines. So apply a predefined cell border. On a worksheet, select the cell or range of cells that you want to add a border to, change the border style on, or remove a border from. On the Home tab in the font group, do one of the following. So apply a new or different border style. Click the arrow next to borders. So this is the icon. And then click a border style. So tip, to apply a custom border style or a diagonal border, click more borders. So in the Format Cells dialog box on the Border tab, you underline and color, click the line style and color that you want. Under Presets and Border, click one or more buttons to indicate the border placement. Two diagonal border buttons, as seen in the icon here, are available under Border. So to remove cell borders, click the arrow next to Borders and then click No Border. So the Borders button displays the most recently used border style. You can click the Borders button to apply that style. If you apply a border to a selected cell, the border is also applied to adjacent cells that share a bordered cell boundary. So for example, if you apply a box border to enclose the range B1 to C5, the cells D1 to D5 acquire a left border. So if you apply two different types of borders to a shared cell boundary, the most recently applied border is displayed. A selected range of cells is formatted as a single block of cells. If you apply a right border to the range of cells B1 to C5, the border is displayed only on the right edge of the cells, C1 to C5. If you want to print the same border on cells that are separated by a page break, but the border appears on only one page, you can apply an inside border. So this way, you can print a border at the bottom of the last row of one page and use the same border at the top of the first row on the next page. So do the following. Select the rows on both sides of the page break. Click the arrow next to borders and then click more borders. Under presets, click the inside button, and under border in the preview diagram, remove the vertical border by clicking it. Now, how are we going to remove a cell border? So on a worksheet, select the cell or range of cells that you want to remove a border from. To select a selection of cells, click any cell on the worksheet. On the Home tab in the font group, click the arrow next to borders and then click No Border. Or click Home, the borders arrow, erase border, and then select the cells with the border you want to erase. So create a custom cell border style. You can create a cell style that includes a custom border. And then you can apply that cell style when you want to display the custom border around selected cells. On the Home tab in the Styles group, click Cell Styles. So if you do not see the Cell Styles button, you just click Styles and then click the More button next to the Cell Styles box. So this is an example of how we are going to activate the Styles group. So create a custom cell border style. So click new cell style. So these are the options. So we have here at the bottom part, new cell style. So that is the button that you are going to click. And then in the style name box, type an appropriate name for the new cell style. Then click format. On the border tab, underline, in the style box, click the line style that you want to use for the border. So as shown in this diagram. So we have here a border tab. So this is where you are going to see the presets like none, outline, and then the type of border that you are going to use. And then in the color box, select the color that you want to use. Under border, click the border buttons to create the border that you want to use. Then click OK. In the style dialog box, under style includes clear the check boxes for any formatting that you do not want to include in the cell style. And then click OK. To apply the cell style, do the following. Select the cells that you want to format with the custom cell border. On the Home tab, in the Styles group, click Cell Styles. Click the custom cell style that you just created, like the fancy border style button in this picture. So how are we going to draw cell borders? So to customize the line style or color of cell borders or erase existing borders, you can use the draw borders options. So to draw cell borders, you'll first select the border type, then the border color and line style, and select the cells that you want to add a border around. So here's how. Click Home, the borders arrow, pick draw borders for outer borders or draw border grid for grid lines. So this is an example of how we are going to draw the cell borders. So these are the options. So for the draw borders, we can draw border grid, erase border, line color, and line style. So click the borders arrow, line color arrow, and then pick a color. Click the borders arrow, line style arrow, and then pick a line style. Select cells you want to draw borders around. How to apply cell shading. Select the cell or range of cells that you want to apply cell shading to. On the Home tab in the font group, choose the arrow next to fill color. And then under theme colors or standard colors, select the color that you want. So format a worksheet. You can help improve the readability of a worksheet by applying different types of formatting. So for example, you can apply borders and shading to help define the cells in a worksheet. So how? The first one is to apply cell borders. So select the cell or range of cells that you want to add a border to. And then to quickly select the whole worksheet, click the Select All button. On the Home tab in the font group, click the arrow next to borders and then click the border style that you want. So this is the button that we are going to click. So the borders button displays the most recently used border style. You can click the borders button, not the arrow, to apply that style. Second one is to change text color and alignment. Select the cell or range of cells that contain or will contain the text that you want to format. You can also select one or more portions of the text within a cell and apply different text colors to those sections. To change the color of text in the selected cells, on the Home tab in the font group, click the arrow next to font color. And then under the theme colors or standard colors, click the color that you want to use. So take note that to apply a color other than the available theme colors and standard colors, you click more colors. And then define the color that you want to use on the standard tab or custom tab of the colors dialog box. To change the alignment of the text in the selected cells on the Home tab in the alignment group, click the alignment option that you want. So we can change our alignment by clicking the horizontal alignment of cell contents. So you also click the text left for the left alignment, center for the center alignment, or align text right for the right alignment of the text. Then the third one is to apply cell shading. Select the cell or range of cells that you want to apply cell shading to. On the Home tab in the font group, click the arrow next to the fill color, and then under theme colors or standard colors, click the color that you want. Now let's proceed with using AutoSum to add your data. So when you've entered numbers in your sheet, you might want to add them up. A fast way to do that is by using the AutoSum function. So select the cell to the right or below the numbers you want to add. Click the Home tab and then click AutoSum in the editing group. So this is the AutoSum icon. AutoSum adds up the numbers and shows the result in the cell that you have selected. If you need to sum a column or row of numbers, let Excel do the math for you. Select a cell next to the numbers you want to sum. Click AutoSum on the Home tab, then press Enter and you're done. So when you click AutoSum, Excel automatically enters a formula that uses the sum function to sum the numbers. So here's an example. To add the January numbers in this entertainment budget, select cell B7. So the cell immediately below the column of numbers. Then click AutoSum. A formula appears in cell B7 and Excel highlights the cell you're totaling. So press enter to display the results. Like for example, 95.94 in cell B7. You can also see the formula in the formula bar at the top of the Excel window. So here's the formula and here's the total values. So to sum a column of numbers, select the cell immediately below the last number in the column. To sum a row of numbers, select the cell immediately to the right. AutoSum is in two locations. So we have Home AutoSum and Formulas AutoSum. So once you create a formula, you can copy it to other cells instead of typing it over and over. So for example, if you copy the formula in cell B7 to cell C7, the formula in C7 automatically adjusts to the new location and calculates the number in C3 to C6. You can also use AutoSum on more than one cell at a time. For example, you could highlight both cell B7 and C7, click AutoSum, and total both columns at the same time. So learn more about simple formulas. So all formula entries begin with an equal sign. For simple formulas, simply type the equal sign followed by the numeric values that you want to calculate and the math operators that you want to use. So the plus sign to add, the minus sign to subtract, asterisk to multiply, and forward slash to divide. Then press enter and Excel instantly calculates and displays the result of the formula. So for example, when you type equal 12.99 plus 16.99 in cell C5 and press enter, Excel calculates the result and displays 29.98 in that cell. So we have here an example. So this is our formula. So the formula appears in the formula bar. So we have to add the equal sign first plus the values, and then Excel displays the formula result in the cell. So the formula that you enter in a cell remains visible in the formula bar and you can see it whenever the cell is selected. So important, although there is a sum function, there is no subtract function. Instead, use the minus operator in a formula. For example, equal 8 minus 3 plus 2 minus 4 plus 12. Or you can use a minus sign to convert a number to its negative value in the sum function. For example, the formula is equal to sum and then open and close parentheses 12, 5, negative 3, 8, negative 4 uses the sum function to add 12, 5, subtract 3, add 8, and subtract 4 in that particular order. So the easiest way to add a sum formula to your worksheet is to use AutoSum. So select an empty cell directly above or below the range that you want to sum, and on the Home or Formula tabs of the ribbon, click Auto Sum and Sum. So this will automatically sense the range to be summed and build the formula for you. This also works horizontally if you select a cell to the left or right of the range that you need to sum. So note, AutoSum does not work on non-contiguous ranges. So this is the symbol for AutoSum. So aside from AutoSum, we can also use the average, count numbers, max for maximum, mean for minimum, and other functions in Microsoft Excel. So AutoSum vertically. In this figure, which can be seen on the right side of the screen, the AutoSum feature is seen to automatically detect cells B2 to B5 as the range to sum. All you need to do is press enter to confirm it. If you need to add, exclude more cells, you can hold the shift key plus the arrow key of your choice until your selection matches what you want. Then press enter to complete the tasks. So we have B2 to B5, and the total can be seen in the cell B6. So IntelliSense function guide. So the sum, numbers 1, numbers 2, and so on and so forth, floating tag beneath the function in its IntelliSense guide. So if you click the sum or function name, it will change or a blue hyperlink to the help topic for that function. If you click the individual function elements, their respective pieces in the formula will be highlighted. In this case, only B2 to B5 would be highlighted since there is only one number reference in this formula. So the IntelliSense tag will appear for any function. So this is the IntelliSense function guide. Okay, next. So we have AutoSum horizontally. So you can add B2, C2, and D, and the sum can be seen, or the total can be seen in D2. So you add B2 plus C2 is equal to D2. So the sum function adds values. You can add individual values, cell references, or ranges, or a mix of all three. So for example, equal sum A2 to A10 adds the values in cells A2 up to A10. Equal sum A2 to A10, C2 to C10 adds the values in cells A2 to 10 as well as cells C2 to C10. So we have here some argument name and their description under the sum function syntax. So number 1, the first number you want to add, the number can be like 4, a cell reference like B6, or a cell range like B2 to B8. And then number 2, to 255. This is the second number you want to add. You can specify up to 255 numbers in this way. So best practices with sum. So this section will discuss some best practices for working with the sum function. So much of this can be applied to working with other functions as well. So the equal sign 1 plus 2 or equal A plus B method, while you enter equal 1 plus 2 plus 3 or equal A1 plus B1 plus C2, and get fully accurate results. So these methods are error prone for several reasons. So typos. Imagine trying to enter more and or much larger values like this. So we have values like 14,598.93 plus 65,437.90 plus 784,496.23. So then try to validate that your entries are correct. It's much easier to put these values in individual cells and use a sum formula. So in addition, you can format the values when you are in cells, making them much more readable than when they're in a formula. So this is an example. So you just add it up. So next is hashtag value, exclamation point errors when referencing text instead of numbers. So if you use a formula like A1 plus B1 plus C1 or A1 plus A2 plus A3. So there will be an error inside your Excel sheet. So your formula can break if there are any non-numeric or text values in the reference cells, which will return this particular error. So hashtag value, exclamation point. So some will ignore text values and give you the sum or just the numeric values. Next, we have the hashtag ref, exclamation point error from deleting rows or columns. So if you delete a row or column, the formula will not update to exclude the deleted row and it will return a hashtag ref, exclamation point error, where a sum function will automatically update. Next, formulas won't update references when inserting rows or columns. So you have inserted a new column here, which will not be updated. Next, if you insert a row or column, the formula will not update to include the added row, where a sum function will automatically update, as long as you're not outside of the range reference in the formula. This is especially important if you expect your formula to update and it doesn't, as it will leave you with incomplete results that you might not catch. So sum with individual cell references versus ranges. So using a formula like equal sum, open and close parentheses A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3 is equally error prone when inserting or deleting rows within the reference range for the same reasons. It's much better to use individual ranges like equal sum, A1 to A3, and B1 to B3, which will update when adding or deleting rows. So avoid rewriting the same formula. So please refer to the diagram on the right side of your screen. So after you create a formula, you can copy it to other cells. No need to rewrite the same formula. You can either copy the formula or use the fill handle to copy the formula to adjacent cells. So for example, when you copy the formula in cell B6 to C6, the formula in that cell automatically changes to update to cell references in column C. So when you copy the formula, ensure that the cell references are correct, and cell references may change if they have relative references. So the formula bar displays the updated formula. So when you copy the formula from B6 to C6, the formula automatically changes the references in the new location and displays the sum of C3 to C5. So paste options. So by default, when you copy or cut and paste in Excel, everything in the source cell or range like data, formatting, formulas, validation, comments is pasted to the destination cell. This is what happens when you press Ctrl plus V to paste. Since that might not be what you want, you have many other paste options depending on what you copy. So for example, you might want to paste the contents of a cell but not its formatting. Or maybe you want to transpose the pasted data from rows to columns. Or you might need to paste the result of a formula instead of a formula itself. So it is important that when you copy and paste formulas, you might need to fix cell references. However, references are not changed when you cut and paste formulas. So you can also use the fill handle to copy a formula into adjacent cells on the worksheet. So this is the adjacent cell. This is the fill handle wherein you can copy into adjacent cells. So you just press it and then uh, spread it to the other cells in your worksheet. So click home, paste, and pick the specific paste option you want. So for example, to paste only formatting from the copied cell, click formatting. So this is the icon for the formatting. And this table shows the options available in the paste menu. So we have the three columns, the icon, the option name, and what is pasted. So this icon is known as paste, so all cell contents. So this icon keeps source column widths, copied cell content along with its column width. Next, we have this icon transpose, reorients the content of copied cells when pasting. Data in rows is pasted into columns and vice versa. This icon is known as formulas or formula without formatting or comments. Next, we have values, formula results without formatting or comments. Then we have formatting, only the formatting from the copied cells. Next, we have values and source formatting. So values and formatting from copied cells. Next, we have the paste link, reference to the source cells instead of the copied cell contents. Next, we have picture if you want to copy an image. And then link picture, copied image with a link to the original cells. If you make any changes to the original cells, those changes are reflected in the pasted image. Paste special. So to use options from the paste special box, click home, paste special, keyboard shortcut such as press Ctrl Alt V. So we have here as a paste special box. So pick the attribute you want to paste. So we have all, formula, values, formats, comments, validation. Then we have operations such as NAND, add, subtract, and you just click OK. So depending on the type of data you copied and the paste option you picked, some other options might be grayed out. So these are some of the paste. So this is the paste special box, and we have different options for paste and operation. And then we have the OK and cancel button. So we have here paste special. So the paste option on the first column and action on the next column. So we have all, paste all cell contents and formatting of the copy data. Formulas, so paste only the formulas of the copy data as entered in the formula bar. Values, paste only the values of the copy data as displayed in the cells. Formats, paste only cell formatting of the copy data. Comments and notes, paste only comments and notes attached to the copied cell. Okay, next we have validation. So paste data validation rules for the copied cells to the paste area. All using source theme, paste all cell contents in the document theme formatting that is applied to the copy data. All except borders, paste all cell contents and formatting applied to the copied cell except borders. Column widths, paste the width of one copied column or range of columns to another column or range of columns. Next, we have formulas and number formats. Paste only formulas and all number formatting options from the copied cells. Values and number formats. Paste only values and all number formatting options from the copied cells. All merging additional formats, paste the contents and conditional formatting options from the copied cells. And then you can also specify a mathematical operation to apply to the copied data. So we have operation none. specifies that no mathematical operation will be applied to the copied data. Adds the copied data to the data in the destination cell or range of cells. Subtracts the copied data from the data in the destination cell or range of cells. Multiplies the copied data with the data in the destination cell or range of cells. Divides the copied data by the data in the destination cell or range of cells. So we also have other options like skip blanks, avoids replacing values in your paste area when blank cells occur in the copy area when you select this checkbox. Transpose changes columns of copied data to rows and vice versa when you select this checkbox. Paste link, click to create a link to the copied cell or cells. So how are we going to verify and fix cell references in a pasted formula? So cell references are automatically adjusted when you cut, not copy, and paste formulas. So after you paste a copied formula, you should verify that all cell references are correct in the new location. So the cell references may have changed based on the reference type, absolute, relative, or mixed used in the formula. So for example, if you copy a formula in cell A1 and paste it 2 cells down and to the right, C3, cell references in the pasted formula will change as follows. So we have the absolute column and absolute row, then changes to $A, $1, relative column and absolute row, then we have C, $1, and then we have absolute column and relative row. So we have $A3, and then A1, relative column and relative row, we have C3. So if cell references in the formula don't give you the result you want, try switching to different reference types. So all you have to do is to select the cell containing the formula. In the formula bar bottom image, select the reference you want to change. Then press F4 to switch between the reference combinations and choose the one you want. Get started on how to create formulas and use built-in functions to perform calculations and solve problems. So create a formula that refers to values in other cells. Select a cell and then type the equal sign. So formulas in Excel always begin with the equal sign. So select a cell or type its address in the selected cell. Then enter an operator, for example, subtraction or the minus sign. Then select the next cell or type its address in the selected cell. Then press enter. The result of the calculation appears in the cell with the formula. So how are we going to enter a formula that contains a built-in function? So select an empty cell, type an equal sign, and then type a function. So for example, equal sign sum for getting the total sales. Then type an opening parenthesis, then select the range of cells, and then type a closing parenthesis. So we have, for example, on the last column here, we have equal sign sum and then the opening parenthesis and then closing parenthesis for the highlighted cells. Then press enter to get the result. So what can I use in a formula to mimic calculator keys? So we have the plus key used in a formula to add numbers. Like for example, equal sign 4 plus 6 plus 2, and then the result is 12. Then we have the minus key used in a formula to subtract numbers or to signify a negative number. Example, we have equal sign plus minus 12. So that is 6. And then we have equal sign 24 times negative 5 is equal to negative 120. Then we have the multiply key or the asterisk, also called a star, using a formula to multiple numbers. So we have equal 8 multiplied by 3, that is equal to 24. Then we have the divide key for the forward slash, using a formula to divide one number by another. So we have equal sign 45 divided by 5, so that is 9. Then we have the percent key used in a formula with asterisk to multiply by a percent. So we have equal sign 15% times 20. So that's 3. Then we have the square root or the square root function. So use the square root for function in a formula to find the square root of a number. So we have equal sign, SQRT, open and close parentheses, the specified number, such as, for example, 64, and then we've come up with the result 8. And then we have reciprocal, 1 over x or 1 over n. Use this formula where n is the number you want to divide 1 by. So we have 1 over 8, so that's 0.125. So apply a number format. So to distinguish between different types of numbers, add a format like currency, percentages, or dates. So select the cells that have numbers you want to format. Click the Home tab and then click the arrow in the general box. So this is the icon for applying a number format. So pick a number format. So if you don't see the number format you're looking for, click more number formats. So these are the options. So we have the general or no specific format, number, currency, accounting, short date, long date, time, percentage, fraction, scientific, text, and we have the option for more number formats. So put your data in a table. So a simple way to access Excel's power is to put your data in a table. That lets you quickly filter or sort your data. So first one is to select your data by clicking the first cell and dragging to the last cell in your data. So to use the keyboard, hold down Shift while you press the arrow keys to select your data. So click the quick analysis button, so this is the icon, in the bottom right corner of the selection. And then click tables, move your cursor to the table button to preview your data. And then click the table button. So that's under formatting. So click the arrow in the table header of a column. So to filter the data, clear the select all checkbox and then select the data you want to show in your table. So we have select all and other options. And then to sort the data, click sort A to Z for ascending or sort Z to A for descending. And then click OK. So to quickly sort your data, select a range of data such as A1 to L5, multiple rows and columns, or C1 to C80, a single column. The range can include titles that you created to identify columns or rows. Select a single cell in the column on which you want to sort. So click this icon in Excel that sorts A to Z or smallest number to largest to perform an ascending sort. So A to Z or smallest number to largest. You can also click in Excel that sorts Z to A or largest number to smallest to perform a descending sort. So Z to A or largest number to smallest. So to sort by specific criteria, we have to select a single cell anywhere in the range that you want to sort. On the Data tab, in the Sort and Filter group, choose Sort. The Sort dialog box appears. In the Sort by List, select the first column on which you want to sort. In the Sort On list, select either values, cell color, font color, or cell icon. In the order list, select the order that you want to apply to the sort operation, alphabetically or numerically ascending or descending. that is A to Z or Z to A for text, or lower to higher or higher to lower for numbers. And then how are we going to filter our data? Select the data that you want to filter. On the Data tab, in the Sort and Filter group, click Filter. So this is the filter icon. Click the row in the column header to display a list in which you want to make filter choices. To select by values in the list, clear the Select All checkbox, and this removes the check marks from all the checkboxes. Then select only the values you want to see, and then click OK to see the results. Activate and use an add-in. So on the File tab, choose Options, then choose the Add-ins category. Near the bottom of the Excel Options dialog box, make sure that Excel Add-ins is selected in the Manage box. Then click Go. In the Add-ins dialog box, select the checkboxes and add-ins that you want to use, and then click OK. So if Excel displays a message that states it can't run this add-in and prompts you to install it, then click Yes to install the add-ins in the Excel. So we have here some spreadsheet terminologies which are arranged in alphabetical order. So we have absolute cell reference. So one that does not change when it is copied. To make a cell reference absolute, you must include a $sign before the reference. So example, $C, $4. So the other type of reference is a relative reference. Active cell is the cell in the spreadsheet that is currently selected for data entry. You can change which cell is the active cell by clicking the left mouse button once or using the arrow keys on the keyboard. So the current active cell can be identified as being the one that has a darker black border around it. Also, the active cell reference is listed in the name box directly above the spreadsheet's column headings. Anchor cell is the first cell that is highlighted in a range. When a range of cells is selected, they appear as highlighted in black. So the anchor cell, however, remains white if only one cell is selected in the sheet. It is the anchor cell. Bar or column chart. So a bar or column chart is a style of chart that is used to summarize and compare categorical data. So the length of each bar represents the aggregate value of that particular category. Bars run horizontally and columns run vertically. Cell is a rectangular area formed by the intersection of a column and a row. So cells are identified by the cell name or reference, which is found by combining the column letter with the row number. So for example, the cell in column C in row 3 would be cell C3. Cells may contain numbers, labels, formulas, or functions. Cell name by default is the name of a cell, is the cell reference. You may, however, define a particular cell or range of cells with an alternative name. So this alternative name can then be used in formulas and functions and provide a quick way to jump to a particular area of a spreadsheet. Cell reference is the name of the cell that is found by combining the column letter with the row number. So for example, the cell in column C in row 3 would be cell C3. Next column. Columns run vertically on the spreadsheet screen. An Excel spreadsheet contains 256 columns that are labeled with the letters of the alphabet. So when the column labels reach letter Z, they continue on with AA, AB, AC to AZ, and then BA, BB, BC to BZ, and so on and so forth. column or bar chart. So a column or bar chart is a style of chart that is used to summarize and compare categorical data. So the length of each bar represents the aggregate value of that particular category. Columns run vertically and bars run horizontally. Data refers to the type of information that can be stored in the cells of a spreadsheet. So spreadsheet data types include values or numbers, labels, formulas, and functions. Enter key on the keyboard is used to accept any data that has been typed in a cell and move the active cell down vertically to the next one in a column. Fill is a feature that can be used to quickly copy data from the anchor cell to an adjoining range, updating the data if appropriate. This means that if the anchor cell contains a formula with relative cell references, those references will automatically update relative to their position when copied to a new location. So fill can also be used to automatically populate common lists of data such as days of the week or months. So fill can be used to copy data either horizontally or vertically in a range. Fill handle is the small bold square in the bottom right corner of a cell that can be used to copy or fill data to adjacent cells in the same row or column. When you hover over the fill handle box, the mouse pointer will change to a black plus sign, and you may then click the left mouse button and hold it down while selecting the adjacent cells to copy to. Releasing the mouse button will then fill the content. Next, filter. Filtering will allow you to quickly find the information that you are looking for in a spreadsheet. When you apply a filter, you control the data that is displayed on the screen by setting criteria. So data contained in rows that don't meet your criteria will temporarily disappear from view when the filter is applied. When the filter is cleared, all of the data will once again appear in the spreadsheet. So next we have formula. So formula is a spreadsheet data type that will calculate a result and display it in the active cell. A formula is written using cell references and must begin with an equal sign. This is to distinguish it from what particular label. An example of a formula would be equal A3 plus C3, which would take whatever value was entered into cell A3 and add it to the value that was typed into C3. After typing the formula and pressing the enter key, the resulting value will be displayed. So this is what we have discussed earlier. Formula bar appears directly above the column headings of a spreadsheet and will display what has been typed into the active cell. For example, if you click on a cell that contains the formula A3 plus C3, the cell itself will show the result of the formula. So the formula bar, however, will display what has actually been typed into the cell, which is, in this case, is equal to A3 plus C3. Freezing columns and rows. Freezing is a technique that can be used in larger spreadsheets to assist in viewing the information on the screen. If a spreadsheet contains many rows, you can freeze the rows containing your heading labels so that as you scroll down in the sheet, the heading stays at the top and line up with the appropriate data. Likewise, if your spreadsheet contains many columns, the leftmost columns may be frozen so that they stay with the data as you scroll to the right. Functions are built-in formulas that are used to enter either commonly used or very complex formulas. Like formulas, functions begin with an equal sign. So use cell references in their format. One commonly used function is the sum function, which will add up the values in a range. So the function equals sum H2 to H25 would add all values contained in cell H2 through H25 and return the result when the enter key is pressed. Grid lines. Grid lines are the horizontal and vertical lines on the screen that separate cells in a spreadsheet. So grid lines typically do not print unless the option is set in the layout option of the spreadsheet. So labels refer to the text that is typed into the cells of a spreadsheet. Labels have no numeric value and cannot be used in a formula or function. Name box appears to the left of the formula bar and displays the name of the current cell. Unless you define a cell or range of cells with a specific name, the name box will display the cell reference of the active cell. Pie chart is a circular chart that is divided up into sections, each of which represents the numeric proportion of the whole. Print area is used to specify a range of cells that will be printed rather than printing an entire worksheet. So this is particularly useful for very large worksheets with multiple columns and rows. Print titles are used to repeat columns or row titles on each page. That way, if a spreadsheet prints on multiple pages, each page will contain the appropriate headings to identify the data. A range is a group of cells in a spreadsheet that have been selected. If the cells are all together in a rectangular or square shape, it is an adjacent range. An adjacent range is identified by the cell reference in the upper left and lower right corners of the selection separated by a colon. So for example, we have A3 to B5. So in this example, the range would include all cells in a rectangular area formed by beginning the highlighting in cell A3 and dragging down to B5. So you can also consider the column as the word through. So in this case, the range would include cells A3 through B5. If there are gaps between selected cells, cells are separated by rows or columns, the range is a non-adjacent range. Areas of a non-adjacent range are separated by commas when referenced in a formula, such as A3, A4, B5. So the comma in a non-adjacent range is like the word end. In this example, our range would be cells A3 and A4 and B5, but not the cells in between. Relative reference is one that changes when it is copied. For example, if a formula that contains the cell reference C4 is copied to the next cell to the right, the reference will change to D4, updating the column letter. So if the same formula is copied down one cell, the reference will change to C5, updating the row number. So the other type of reference is an absolute reference. Rows can run horizontally on the spreadsheet screen. An Excel spreadsheet contains 16,384 rows, which are labeled numerically. Sheet tabs. So in Microsoft Excel, the sheet tabs appear below the worksheet grid area and allow you to switch from one worksheet to another in a workbook. Sorting is used to arrange information in a particular order. So when sorting data, you may choose multiple levels of criteria and sort in either ascending or descending order. So for example, a spreadsheet of data could be sorted first alphabetically in ascending order by last name and then by first name. Next, tab key. The tab key on the keyboard is used to accept any data that has been typed in a cell and move the active cell horizontally to the next one in a row. So values are numeric data that is entered into a cell. So when data is formatted as the value type, it can be referred to in formulas and functions and used in calculations. A workbook, on the other hand, is a collection of worksheets that are saved together in one file. Individual worksheets can be given descriptive names, and you can switch from one worksheet to another by using the sheet tabs that appear beneath the worksheet grid area. Worksheet is the grid of columns and rows that information is inputted into. In many spreadsheet applications, such as Microsoft Excel, one file called a workbook can contain several worksheets. Worksheets can be named using the sheet tabs of the bottom of the spreadsheet window. So the sheet tabs can also be used to switch from one worksheet to another within a workbook. So those are some of the spreadsheet terminologies that we often encounter when we use the Microsoft Excel.